In the comments of my one tip for every attacker video, you asked me to make a similar video, but then for defenders. So here is a round-winning tip for every defender. Starting off with smoke. You can throw the smoke canister as a bait without detonating it. The attackers will get scared to take damage and they'll run away. This way, you or a teammate can peek right behind it to catch an attacker off guard. Your mute jammers don't even have to be on site. You can always spread them around on first entry points to waste some time for attackers when they try to join the entrance of the building, but they can't. When you're playing castle, pre-punch the castle barricades so it'll break easier than the enemies will expect it to. A castle barricade takes 9 hits to destroy, so if you punch it 7 times, the enemy will be surprised with an open door if they punch it twice. This way, you get a sound cue first, and then you can prepare for the enemy to be standing there in the open. If you punch the barricade on one side, you won't even see this on the other side, so it's a good way to surprise some attackers. If you're playing Pulse, you should play it together with your team with more C4s. Tell them you'll say boom whenever they need to detonate the C4 if you see someone on the cardiac sensor. And when you're playing Doc, it's always easier to pick someone up by reviving them because this saves out a stim pistol. It might be risky though, but afterwards you can use the stim pistol to give the person you just picked up a little bit more HP. Place down your Rook armor as soon as you can. Let your teammates get the armor, and eventually you can destroy the armor box if enemies haven't spotted it yet. They won't easily see there's a Rook on the team, and if they, for example, nade you, they won't know that you're just downed. 2 Kapkan traps on one doorway should be enough to injure or kill most of the attackers. It might even be worth it to put them on both sides of the door because players might not check both sides. With the Tachanka Shumika launcher, you can bounce off Shumikas on, for example, a bomb chassis so that you don't have to expose yourself too far. Juggle Jager's ADSs around for a faster counter of the throwables. Once you place it down again, it activates faster. You won't have to wait the 10 seconds for it to recharge, and you save about half the time by doing this. When you're playing Bandit, ask for a teammate to make some shotgun holes on the soft wall before you reinforce it if you're planning on bandit tricking. The open soft wall will give a better sound cue on what side the breaching utility is placed, so you can accurately bandit trick. Frost mats up the stairs or under vaults seem to work really well. Additionally, you can place another frost mat on a location where it was just activated. Enemies will not expect that one for sure. The light on a Valkyrie camera is on when you're spectating the camera, even if you're just spectating it for 1 second. This makes the camera easier to be spotted. If you think your cam is being watched or about to be spotted, quickly flick to another camera. If you've just downed someone as a cav, I know you want to interrogate that person, but don't be too greedy on it, because usually there's another teammate right around the corner that will try to stop you from interrogating. It'll be worth it to check if there will not be anyone to follow that person up so you won't be traded out. Did you know this for an echo drone? You can use them up an open hatch for information. With a change, you can use the yokai drone outside for 10 seconds. This means you'll be back in time down the hatch before your gadget gets disabled. A really good example is this hatch in Clubhouse Strip Club to get information on who's outside the CCTV windows. If you're playing Mira, try to keep count of how many shock drones there are left in the round, or even stand against your window so Twitch drones can't zap it. Another tip would be to keep one of the Mira windows in your pocket so you can adjust in the beginning of the action phase and place it where the enemies are actually pushing from. And a round-winning tip with Lesion is to put a goo mine on the default plant spot, especially late round. If an attacker tries to plant, the button to take out the goo mine is the same one as the button to plant the diffuser. Put a Grismod mine outside a barricade that is punched twice. If the gadget activates, you can hit the barricade once, swing around the corner, and pick up the kill. You can toggle Vigil's ability quickly to check if there are any nearby drones. Another tip is that you won't be visible to Yana replicators, and you can move around during a lion scan if your gadget is active. You can either use your Maestro Evil Eyes to zap away drones and keep roamers in a safer spot, or you can use use these at the end of the round to deny a plant. Either way, your cameras are very good utility to keep alive as long as possible. Don't leave them open for too long and immediately close and turn the cams away if there's a threat nearby. If you throw a prisma outside, the enemies will continuously get the message "enemy spotted outside." This means that you can run out without them knowing, because the message is already on their screen. When you're playing Clash, keep in mind that the first zap will not do any damage. So when you're zapping an enemy, spam pressing the button won't work to inflict damage. I know it looks cool, but it'll only just slow the enemy down a little bit. Spamming the button will, however, drain the bar. You'll have to press it for longer than a second to actually do damage to the enemy. The best way to make your Electroclaws survive until the end of the round is to hide them in spots where enemies won't expect it. For example, in a closet right next to the breach, or even on a different floor. Similar to the echo change, you can keep a Mozzie captured drone outside for 10 seconds as well. Move the drone through a drone hole to spot some enemies right outside of it. You'll have plenty of time to move it back inside before it gets deactivated. Warden's gadget now takes longer to recharge after you've used it due to a recent change to his gadget. You can turn off the gadget halfway throughout the bar so you won't waste the gadget. You can only shoot the red part of the Vulcan canister, so when you're placing it down, make sure the red part of the canister is always facing you. When you're playing Wamai, never place the magnets close to each other. If there's a grenade caught by one of them, the magnets will destroy each other. When you're playing Oryx, use this ability to quickly pass a hallway that enemies might be in, or to go past an open gate. For Melusi, I'll show you two of my favorite Melusi spots. This one for the clubhouse church objective, and this one for the main stairs on Villa. Also, the lines on the gadget will indicate what the area of effect is. Make sure enemies can't just walk into a room and walk next to the area of effect. Use Aruni's one punch ability on a barricade or a hatch to surprise enemies with a flank or a drop. You can juggle around Thunderbird's Kona stations for a faster heal. I usually bring one with me when I'm roaming so I can heal myself after a gunfight. A Kona station takes 30 seconds to recharge, but if you pick it up and place it down again, this will be a lot faster. You can use Thorn's Razorblum shells on the default plant spot, because as soon as an attacker starts planting, it's gonna be really difficult for them to get away in time. If you use them in a closet or other hidden spots, it will destroy utility, such as a Heartbreach gadget. And to end the list, this is my favorite Azami trick as of right now. You can get on top of the AKKs in Clubhouse like this. Toss a Kiba barrier on the AKKs and block off the line of sight by putting another one on this side of the AKKs. Then jump up on here, run towards AKKs and keep spamming your vault button. You can then block off dirt and blue with the remaining Kiba barriers. Every single game I do this, I have enemies and teammates asking me how the heck I got there. Now that was one tip for all defenders. If you have any other tips you've missed or tips you think are great for certain operators, feel free to share these in the comments. I'll be responding to your comments and maybe even feature some in a video on my channel. Don't forget to leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you like tips and tricks videos like this one. Maybe you'll even like to see one tip for every attacker or these 13 tips on how to get more kills. Thank you so much for watching, have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one.